Dad, what's the Dust Bowl?
Well, son, it all started in the early 1930s.
The Dust Bowl went north from Texas to the Dakotas.
The Dust Bowl moved east to west from New Mexico to parts of Kansas.
The main storms of the Dust Bowl occurred in parts of Kansas, Colorado, Oklahoma, and the Texas Panhandle, as seen in the graph below, though other storms were very strong too, occurring from Texas all the way to North and South Dakota.
Dad, what was it like around the Dust Bowl?
Do you mean the physical regions?
Yeah, the physical reasons.
The plains supporting the Dust Bowl was a semi-arid region with little rainfall disabling vegetation. The lack of rainfall was provided by the rain shadow of the Rockies. This is what the Great Plains topsoil looked like. As an example of its harsh conditions, many natives were forced to settle on reservations near the Great Plains due to its unsuitable climate for living. However, many people then moved to the Great Plains, discovering nutritious soil under the topsoil. The Great Plains became a great agricultural paradise, described by some farmers. As you can see, many homes were buried during the storms. Just one single storm could leave a family having to dig themselves out of the house. From this picture, you should see what it's like when a dust storm is on its way. The clouds get huge, covering up almost all sun, and the sky gets very gray. Also from this picture, you should be able to see how harsh the Great Plains was. Maybe now you should have an understanding of why the Americans sent the Indians west. Dust storms occurred when tons and tons of topsoil was thrown into a cloud of fierce wind. The topsoil and dust was then thrown into many objects that were in its path. A dust storm could have been miles wide and miles high. Here's what one might have sounded like going over your house.
So how did they ship the produce and the livestock during the Dust Bowl?
The Continental Railroad was built in the early 1930s and helped farmers ship produce to different parts of the country, mainly east. Cow towns were created to bring cows to farmers when all of the farmers' cows died. They also helped ship cows to different places in the United States. Cow towns were located by the Continental Railroads to help ship the cows. Cowboys had to start cattle drives to move the cattle to the cow towns. A cowbell was used to lure the cows to a set location. This is what a cowbell sounds like.
Whoa, Betsy!
All of the general store owners realized that the farmers didn't have enough money and still had to eat. The general store owners lowered the prices of everything in the store so the farmers could feed their families.
How about the people? What were they like?
Good question, son.
When the prices for general stores went down, when the economy crashed, farmers ended up plowing up more land to make the same income as before. This caused dirt to be swept right off the ground, and new techniques had to be formed. Main techniques formed in farming since the Dust Bowl. Stubble mulch was a really common technique when people had first developed the ideas. It is the process when fences or trees were placed around crops to block the wind from taking crops away. Terracing was also very common during the times after the Dust Bowl. It was making ditches to store water to hold the dust down with water. Irrigation was the process to move water to places that need water because they were bone dry. With the rabbit population rising due to the decrease of coyote populations, rabbits were free to eat any of the little crops farmers still had. This made farmers and their families furious. The people formed parties to basically send them jackrabbits to their deaths, sending them to their deathbeds and killing rabbits everywhere.
Farmers everywhere had almost every resource they needed to grow crops, except for this one. It was very urgent during the times of the Dust Bowl, and they didn't have it. They were shaking their fists at Mother Nature, begging for rain. This is an example of us showing them how it feels to have the awesome stuff H2O. Let's show them, Cole. Woo! Dad, you sure know a lot about the Dust Bowl.
Yeah, son, a little more than I should have.
You should really look into writing a book.
I guess I'll look into that.
Okay, what's the deal?
With the rabbit population rising because coyotes had already died,